Talked about this before on the channel, but there are few aspects of a prospect more important to me than feel, however you want to call that. Basketball, intelligence, awareness, spatial recognition, stuff like that. And there were few prospects in the last, maybe even decade who beat D'Anthony Melton in that regard. Went very late, obviously, because of, reasons, but he was a brilliant player at USC, and he still is. And I think that's really well exemplified by his absolute shredding of this Washington zone, which is always a good example of feel and intelligence. Melton, despite not being like an imposing scorer or statistically a wonderful offensive player, like from mid, from two, from three, everywhere it wasn't amazing, but Melton was able to use his intelligence. This cut opens up the corner shooter. You see. Obviously Melton knows that this pass can't really happen, but he does know that this pass can happen. So Melton sinks into the middle, recognizes that there's no defender aside. There's only one defender, so he forces a 1-on-2, and Melton makes an immediate decision. His processing speed, just the rate at which he kind of sees the floor and makes decisions, is lightning quick, which is incredible. Again, you see Melton hands up, always moving, always looking for the ball, and he draws these defenders away from the paint, which lessens the help, and then Melton goes in for the offensive rebound. So just a clinic. Like, this is the possession I would show a kid if I was trying to show him how to play against a zone as an off-ball player. It was really surgical. Again, just always able, even when he's not able to like find a shot, he's cutting backdoor, finding himself slipping just in the right spots to where his teammates can get him the ball. And even when he's not able to score, he's patient, and he finds this little laydown here. Watch how he sells this, not only with his patience and his tempo, but this looks like a jumper right here. Like, this is a jump shot, like, and he's not just like glancing or he's really selling that fake shot, gets this defender to bite, and he hits his wide open teammate in the middle. It's just so brilliant. We see another example of the quick decision making here, and it's all of the little things. Not only like being able to process the floor at lightning speed, which is so critical for especially off-ball players who are capitalizing on other advantages created. Like, he looks like he's ready to shoot here. Like, he has the high hands, the choppy feet. Like, he looks like he's getting ready to shoot, and it's just an immediate little laydown for a wide open dunk. Like, he is always disguising his actions beautifully. Players never really know what's happening until it happens. And again, like, he is so good at using his tools to get the ball where it needs to be. Like, this guy isn't like open right now, but all Melton needs to do is like take one dribble into the paint, suck this help over, and find his big man down low. It's surgical. It's truly surgical. This is a cool play because Melton is going to score on a backdoor cut here, but he basically walks into that bucket. Like, I feel like a lot of time we think of backdoor cuts as like sprinting into a dunk or into a quick cut, but Melton like slowly saunters behind Thibault, and largely I assume because of Melton's lackadaisical speed, the defense doesn't perceive him as an immediate threat and just kind of leaves him wide open. There were so many easy buckets open like this, where just because of Melton's persistence at using his eyes and his pump fake, Fultz goes out to McLaughlin here, so he opens up a pass to Mitu here in the paint. All of that, has to come with some scoring, though. And that was obviously Melton's big issue as a prospect, and, still in some ways as an NBA player. Like I said, like, the three-point volume and versatility was low. Free throw wasn't great. He was not good on the mid-ranges. The finishing was just okay. But he did have a little bit of craft. Like, the size, he was like, 6'4", long, able to dribble a little bit, find his way into the middle of the zone and hit tough little floaters like that. But it was such a treat to watch Melton just absolutely pick apart these defenses with his brain and with his intelligence. And that obviously transferred over to the defensive side as well, where you see just unbelievable instincts and reaction times snagging balls like this. Like, this is where Melton is when the ball is thrown, and he immediately reacts and is able to snipe that ball out of the air like a elite fucking free safety or something. And just always ready to use his length and to use his explosion and use his timing to nab blocks like this perfectly. I love his utilization again of that length, where he's digging on Fultz, but he's still able to use his length to not only nab the steal but keep the ball in bounds and save the possession, which is again just a little thing that is critical and could potentially save his team 2 points over knocking the steal out of bound and losing a transition attempt, which ends up ending in a foul, which is awesome. And even in like man defense, Melton's like relentlessness, just kind of helping off the ball. And I really like this play because it's like a calculated gamble. Like Melton stunts at this big man to make him make a decision, but is immediately getting back to this cutter with his hands up to deter a pass. Like it all just feels very like, while his instincts are obviously amazing, it feels like thought out. It feels calculated. It feels like his decisions like matter and that they all count for something, which is really, really cool to watch from a young defender. And again, like versus screens, versus dynamic on-ball creators, he really had no problem staying attached with like plus movement skills with his general intensity and strength. He was an incredible defensive prospect and an incredible ancillary alpha prospect, and really just like the perfect modern role player to fit next to ball-dominant stars with his cutting and his passing and his decision-making and his rebounding. And that's part of why I'm so excited to see him in Philly. I think next to Embiid's gravity and Maxey slashing and Harden, he's going to be phenomenal. I'm hoping for a better season for Melton. Feel is so important. And I think the undervaluation of stuff like decision-making and intelligence and processing speed is part of why he got undervalued in the draft, I would have to imagine.